Good evening, everyone. My name is Mr. Tennell. I'm the middle school band director here at the middle school. I'm not going to tell you how many years I've been here. I think this is my 5th year, because right now it's the last thing on my mind. But tonight, we have a wonderful program for you. These kids have been working since about the 2nd day of school on this music. The 6th graders, the big challenge with 6th grade is we're pulling students from 3 different elementary band programs and trying to get them to play as one. Now, Ms. Kaiser, now Mrs. Gold, has an opportunity twice a year to try and accomplish this, but it's so hard with only 2 performances. Now here at the 6th grade, they meet every day unless they're in choir, in which case they meet every other day with us, and they have a real chance to kind of come together as a group. And that is one of my major goals within the first half of the year with the 6th grade, is to kind of get rid of that, I'm a Lincoln kid, I'm a Lindbergh kid, I'm a Dr. Manning kid. Now you're a middle school kid. And so I'm really proud of them. They have done a wonderful job of kind of crossing the lines and making new friends. And if you want to know how well they're getting along, you can ask them how often I ask them to be quiet. We know they talk a lot, and that's great that they're getting along. So the first piece we're going to play for you tonight is Variations on a Theme by Mozart. And you're going to recognize it right away. Despite the fact that you probably sing it to, you sang it to all of these kids up here when they were just 6 months old. It's quite a challenging piece. When Mozart wrote it, there's actually 12 variations, and they're very complex. And this is a slightly easier variation, some easier variations, considering a 6th grade band, but it's still a challenge for them to play something that they're so used to hearing, but now there's a little twist with it. So, Variations on a Theme by Mozart. one of the challenging things with the last piece is that they have what's called a key signature. Now, that key signatures give them some information about what fingers to press and what valves need to go down. And there's 3 different times where it changes. So they really have to concentrate and remember what set of rules they're playing by. So I've drilled that. We even got out highlighters and everything, and they did a wonderful job. The next piece we're going to play is called Habanera. And it's one of the songs that's actually out of the lesson book. It comes from the days, I do believe it's from an opera. And so they get a chance to play a little opera music for you tonight. This is one of their most difficult pieces. I'm trying to challenge them a little bit. So there might be a few wrong notes, but they've done an excellent job considering how difficult the piece is. I think you'll enjoy Habanera. The last piece that the 6th grade is going to perform is the theme from the 1812 Orchard. Now, you will all recognize this piece, even if you didn't have a child in band last year. If you did, and you went to the masked band concert in the spring, this is one of the pieces that all grades 5 through 12 played. And I felt that since it's such a great piece of music, that maybe we should try a version that was attainable by 6th grade. The music that was performed in that setting is usually geared towards more of the high school. And these kids have done a fantastic job with it because they recognize the music, and now they get a chance to be able to play all of it. So they really got behind this. Now, before we end this portion, I'd like to kind of give you a little idea of how the music that I picked came to be. I am working on my master's degree at St. Cloud State, and the instructor there always is talking about themes. You got to have themes for your concert. And so this year, the fall, I thought what we'd do is I picked one piece I really liked, which is the Russian sailor's dance that the 7th and 8th grades performing. And I decided to come up with the European theme. So if you look, even though variations on the theme by Mozart and Habanera and the theme from 1812 Orchard don't necessarily go with Europe, all of the composers are. And the 7th and 8th grade portion, not all the composers are European, but all the titles are. So I know it's kind of a stretch, but that's the theme for tonight, is the Eastern European bloc. So here we are with the last song by the 6th grade, the theme from 1812 Orchard. After that, we'll be bringing up the 7th and 8th grade. So if you need to take a little break quick, you can stand up and stretch, and then we'll continue on with the concert. The group you have in front of you now is the 7th and 8th grade band. This is the second year that we've combined the 7th and 8th grade. This is in order to help students that like to be involved in both band and choir. With the amount of students that we see, Mrs. Prout and I now teach every student that comes through the middle school. Not only are they, if they're not in band and not in choir, they're in our general music classes. So to accommodate, to make sure that we have enough hours to offer our ensembles, we've combined 7th and 8th grade band and choir so that the students can participate in both. This is the second year of it, like I said. The first year, it was kind of difficult. In 6th grade, they have me all to themselves, and then in 7th grade and 8th grade, they have to share me. And even though I'm not that fantastic, sometimes it's still nice to have your own teacher and have your own little group. But I'm really proud of last year's ensemble and this year's ensemble with how willing they are to come together and put aside their differences and help each other play wonderful music. Tonight's concert, their musical portion is pretty difficult. I've challenged them as well. This first piece is pretty technical and very fast. Finlandia is a challenge musically because it's a longer piece to stay focused and keep putting out good music. And Hungarian dance is all over the place. There's a lot of technical things and following the conductor. So it's a challenging concert for them. The first piece is Russian Sailor's Dance, one of my favorite from when I was going through band. So here is Russian Sailor's Dance. while we're having the clarinet switch around and the percussion move around, I'd like to announce the next piece. The title is a Swedish hymn. And every concert, I try and pick one piece that is of a slower tempo, something a little more legato and smooth, something to give them a little bit different taste. One of the things that I feel is important as a middle school director is to get them used to playing all forms of music, so when they go to the high school, there isn't a shock like, oh, we've never played anything like this before. And so the Swedish hymn is a very slow and melodic, but very beautiful piece. I think you'll recognize the hymn. It's a very old and famous one. Carly Sylvester has prepared a little speech about how much she loves this piece. Oh, she's too shy, I guess. So without further ado, a Swedish hymn. The next piece is entitled Finlandia, which is obviously about Finland. It's about Sibelius's own pictures as he tours Finland about its grandiose seashores and its mountains and so forth. So this piece tries to paint a picture of you flying over Finland. This is an orchestra piece arranged for band, and it's an old one, but it's a fabulous piece of music. And so the original composition is, I think, anywhere from 13 to 14 minutes. This one is not that long, but it's still a challenge for these students. They go through many different types of tempo and key signatures and different moves within this to try and paint the pictures of Finland. So it's a challenging piece musically. Without further ado, Finlandia. right, while we're setting up this last piece, there's a couple people I'd like to thank. I'd like to thank Mr. Gertz and Mrs. Prout for doing the videotaping and setting up the lights. I really appreciate all your help with that tonight. It's so wonderful to have this kind of support. I would like to remind you that next Monday evening is a second showing of the indoor marching concert. It's at 7:30 at the high school auditorium. You can purchase tickets, I do believe, in advance if you want to go to the athletic director's office at the high school, or you can purchase tickets the night of the concert. I'd like to direct you in the programs tonight. I put an extra sheet of stuff. On one side has the concert schedule for the rest of the year for the middle school students. So if you don't know those, feel free to take that home with you. If you do know them, or if you can write them down on something else, the opposite side of that is a little survey. And what that is this year I tried to do a parent night for band parents, and I did it on the night of the open house here at the middle school. And so I would really appreciate it. I know not everybody brings a pencil or a pen to a concert, but if you happen to have something you can write with, I would really appreciate it if you could kind of go through that, make your little comments, and kind of give me a little feedback on it, and I'll try and do a little better job next year, or change something about it. So if you have any suggestions, or if you didn't know, it was for everyone, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So if there's some better communication they need to do, or whatever you feel that could make that a more beneficial night for you, do it for you. Sometimes the communication between me, the student, and you get a little fuzzy in the middle. And so this is an opportunity for you to talk directly to me. So if you could take the time, I'd really appreciate it. And if you wouldn't mind, on the back table next to Mr. Gertz, just lay it on the table. If not, you want to take it home tonight, you can send it tomorrow with your students. So it's not an obligation, but I would really appreciate any help or feedback you give me. So we're going to end tonight's concert with the 7th and 8th grade playing Hungarian Dance number 5. This is also an orchestra piece, and this one is the one that I've really challenged them with. This is definitely at least a 9th grade level piece, and they're doing a great job with it. When I first handed it out, there were a lot of pale faces and a lot of head shaking. Like, we're never going to do this. And I have never let a group astray. And you're gonna see how wonderful they play. This is an extremely challenging piece. The only last comment two comments I'd like to make is the only people that need instruments tomorrow are students involved with either jazz band in the 6th grade or the 7th and 8th grade jazz band, or students that have band lessons. The rest of us, most of the rehearsal will be doing some evaluations and so forth. And then, if you could, it really helps the custodians out. I know it's one little extra thing for you to do, but the students need to tear down anyway. If you could stack your chairs in like stacks of 6, then when they bring out the tables to set up for lunch tomorrow, it's a lot easier for them than having to move 200 some odd chairs around. If they're in stacks of 6, it moves much easier for them. So without further ado, I'm Hungarian Dance number 5. Thank you for coming out and supporting your children in music.